To find coterminal angles, all you do is add 360 degrees or 2 pi radians. These first two problems are both in degrees, so I'm going to add 360 and subtract 360. So I'll start with the adding. If I add 360 to 250, I'm going to get 610 degrees. So my positive coterminal angle will be 610. Now if I wanted, I could sit here and add 360 degrees as many times as I want. It's still going to be positive, but why do more work than you need to? To subtract, I'm going to do 250 minus 360. Now, the easiest way, I think, is to think of it as 360 minus 250. So that would be 0, 1, 1. But my 360 was negative, so my angle is going to be negative. So my negative coterminal angle would be negative 110. I could always add 360 back to make sure I get to my original. Once again, I can keep going and subtracting 360, but why do more angles than you need to? I have a negative, I have a positive, move on with your life. Negative 165, I need to start again. Let's add 360. We have opposite signs, so what we really want to think about is doing 360 minus 165. Which will give me 195. Now, I know that was kind of asking you to do a fair amount in your head, but I think of it this way. If I'm starting at 360 and I want to go backwards 165, I first take away the 100, so that would give me 265. So subtract 100, and then I want to subtract 60. So if I subtract 60 from 260, I get 200. And then I subtract 5, and I end up with 185. So I actually kind of take it from left to right. I subtract the 100 from the 165, then the 60 from 165, and then the 5. So I think of it backwards when I'm having to do larger numbers subtracted by hand. Just my little tip. The next one is 5 pi over 6 and negative 13 pi over 4. These two are in radians, so that means I need to add 2 pi. Add 2 pi. But I cannot add fractions unless I have a common denominator. In my first problem, the smart common denominator would be to do 6. So I need to multiply by 6 over 6, because 6 over 6 is just 1. I'm not really changing anything. So that would give me 5 pi plus 12 pi, each of those over 6. Combine your numerators, gives you 17 pi over 6. So that's my positive coterminal angle. To get my negative coterminal angle, I'm just going to start at 5 pi over 6. And then change the sign to a subtraction. Subtract 12 pi over 6. I don't like to go all the way back to the beginning because I already did the hard part of finding a common denominator, so why start all over? 5 minus 12 gives me negative 7. So my negative coterminal angle would be negative 7 pi over 6. Once again, you can keep on going, subtracting 2 pi, subtracting 2 pi, subtracting 2 pi, but I already got a negative, so I'm done. In the second problem, I want to have a common denominator of 4, so I need to multiply by 4 over 4, which is just 1, and multiplying by 1 doesn't change anything. Okay, so that gives me negative 13 pi over 4 plus 8 pi over 4. Negative 13 plus 8 pi over 4 is going to give me negative 5 pi over 4. So notice that's a negative coterminal angle. So in this problem, I'm not going to subtract 2 pi at all, can I? Sure, but why do more work than you need to? Okay, let me write this a little lower because it's hard to read. Negative 5 pi over 4. But this angle is less negative, so I'm going to use that as my starting point to find my positive coterminal angle. So I'm going to take negative 5 pi over 4 and add another 8 pi over 4. Add another trip around the unit circle. So that would give me 3 pi over 4. So my final answer would be negative 5 pi over 4 and positive 3 pi over 4. There really are an infinite number of solutions. These are the easiest ones to do.